Hello everyone, Mr. Schultz here. We are diving into distance part 2 of 2. So we're going to be using a Pythagorean theorem. So let's write that in. To find distance. So what does this look like? All right, well, distance. Well, what does the Pythagorean theorem look like? Well, if we have a right triangle, then we can figure out the hypotenuse right here if we know the two sides. So if we know side 1 and side 2, we can figure out what this is. So basically, this is going to be side 1, square it, plus side 2, square it, will equal the hypotenuse squared. But wait, we don't want to find the hypotenuse. That's going to be the square root of side 1 squared plus side 2 squared is equal to the square root of the square is cancels out. So we're left with the hypotenuse. So looking at this, we're going to see that there is a way to use the distance formula that kind of looks like this Pythagorean theorem. All right, so the distance formula is going to pretty much be find the difference between the x values, find the difference between the y values, square both of those, and then add them up and find the square root of it. So let's jump in and show this in action. So example 3, find the distance on a coordinate plane. Well, we know that this is going to look kind of like a right triangle if we really set our minds to it. We're going to take the one of the x values and we're going to subtract the other x value. So this one's 5. Then we're going to square it, and then we're going to add the y values, -1 minus, that's a 1, minus 7. And we're going to square that. But we have to find the square root. So right now, -1 minus 5 is -6 squared, plus -1 minus -7 is -8 squared. And we still need to find the square root. It's like, hey, we haven't done this yet. So pushing this through, we get 36 plus 64, but wait, we still have the square root. So now we have to add them. And if we add them, 36 plus 64, that's equal to 100. And we still haven't figured out what the distance is because we need to find the square root. But the square root of 100 is 10. So the distance between the 2 points is 10 units. There we go. All right, go ahead and do number 8. And I'm going to give you the answer, but I'm looking for the work going on in 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. So for question 8, I got the square root of 89, or approximately 9.4 units. So make sure you show your work, and let's go on now. So now, what if we don't have any numbers or any graphs? Well, we don't need a graph. All we need to do is we have to figure out which number do we want to start off with, and then subtract the other x value. And then we know we are going to have to square it, and we're going to have to add the y value minus the other y value. So 2 minus 5 is -3 squared, plus 6 minus 10 is -4 squared, but we still need to do the square root. So we get 9 plus 16, and we have to find the square root. And the square root of 9 plus 16 is 25. Wait a second, that's equal to 5. All right, guys, so now what I want you to do is I want you to continue, and I want you to finish the rest of these. They might be a little hard, but there's only 4, and I believe in you. Bye, everybody.